Now, when you think about retiring, you probably have an image of what your home is going to look like when you finally get the chance to put the tools down or walk away from the office. Home ownership has become a critical step in being able to retire comfortably, with mortgage free households more likely to retire in comfort. But even if you're renting, or you still have a few repayments to go on your mortgage, you do have options when you retire. Tonight's retirement segment brought to you by Household Capital. Unlock your wealth and live well at home with Household Capital. Call 13 1306. Kaye Fallick is an independent retirement writer and commentator who's been looking at the needs of retirees for 25 years now, and she joins us again. Kaye, welcome to Money News.
Thank you, Deb.
So I've read many times in the last year that home ownership is the biggest contributor to the ease and comfort that people experience when the time does come to retire and stop work. Is that true?
I believe so. Sheila, basically the numbers. So 76% of retirees own their own home. And when we look at the wealth in retirement, super, the median amount is to 2,200, but the median price of a family home is nearly $1 million. So the home outweighs anything, but it's really more important than how much is it worth, Deb. I think we understand it as our great security factor in retirement.
And we are seeing mortgages become a lot larger too compared to previous generations. And overall, we are taking on more debt as a nation. Are we carrying more debt as we go into retirement overall?
Sadly, yes. So I think my parents' generation were those who'd paid off their home when they went into retirement. And my generation of boomers haven't been quite so good at that. But coming after the boomers, people who are currently aged 55 to 59 really will be taking a mortgage into their 60s at a rate of about 50%. So that is huge. And therefore then the conversation goes, well, what do you do? Do you wait? Do you grab your super? Do you pay it down? How does this work? That is only one option. But people need to think about, if you use most of your super paying down a mortgage, can you actually live on a full age pension of about 30,000 for singles and 45 for couples? Can you close that door if you use all of your super? So it's a really important question to address.
And what about reverse mortgages? Where do they fit into the mix? Because the family home, is it potentially a good asset to use as a loan with a reverse mortgage, or even trading down to free up some of the equity?
Well, they're becoming more and more popular. And the good news, I think, is, first of all, there is now a no negative equity guarantee attached to reverse mortgages, Deb. So the old style reverse mortgages that weren't good products, we're going back maybe 30 years, people could borrow more than their home was worth. And that really rattled everybody, as you can imagine, because it's not a good look. The new style that have been coming in over the last decade or so have very firm federal government guarantees around them. There's also the government HEACE scheme, which is the Home Equity Access Scheme. That doesn't allow you access to as much money, but it's a part of the mix where people are starting to understand, look, if I've got 200 or so in super, I can get a small part pension, I can top up a full pension, but if I want to lend the kids some money or go overseas every second year or whatever, if my largest asset, if I can nibble away at a little bit of that, I can live a comfortable retirement, I'm still leaving a major asset to people who come behind me, but I'm improving my day-to-day living along the way. So, yeah, there's a place for that, and people are starting to explore and understand the trade-off with super is if you totally reduce that loan to zero, at age 60 and 60 plus, you are unlikely to be able to get another bank loan, right? So you've shut a door there. Think carefully, seek advice from someone who can crunch the numbers and show you the projections, show you how much you will have to live on. Because if you pay that mortgage down and you end up on a full or part pension, you may then find that it's actually not the retirement you had in mind, and you might live for another 25 years. So forewarned, forearmed, crunch the numbers and do it with someone who's authorised to help you on that point.
And just on the issue of home ownership too, because a lot of people say, well, just trade down, move out of the big family home, go into a smaller unit somewhere else, and Bob's your uncle. But homeowners are often better off in more ways than just financial, aren't they? There's a lot more than just the bricks and mortar. There's often the community that comes with being a homeowner in a certain street if you've lived in there for some time.
100%. I mean, I'm a carry me out in a box girl, so I'm not the right person here. But the feedback from surveys is 86% of Australians are not inclined to downsize, right? So most say, no, I'm happy to stay in my own neighbourhood. Buying and selling costs money. There's a thing. But also people do get very connected with their neighbours and their neighbourhood. I mean, we've had Christmas drinks for nearly 40 years with the same people. There's a real sense of security, belonging, contribution that goes with that. And a lot of people now, more than moving into residential aged care, looking right down the track, most people will have services brought into their home. So maybe more of us will use our super, Deb, to right-size our home or to make it more accessible, or maybe buy maintenance services. So thinking more about that, I think, is really helpful, even though you think, well, I'm young and fit, what could possibly go wrong?